Welcome back to more Super Mario Galaxy. Last time we started to explore the Freezeflame Galaxy, so this time we're starting out with the remaining stars there. First of all, I want to return to the frozen peak of Baron Burr. Like before, we need to talk to this penguin. Hey old man, are you practicing how to skate too? Well, why don't we play a game? Can you catch me? One thing I actually forgot to mention is when you're skating, you can actually press ZL to skate backwards. It doesn't help you at all, but it looks kinda cool. Not bad, old man. With skating skills like that, you might have a chance. A small chance maybe, but a chance. So now we can return to the main part of the mission. And over here, there's actually a hidden star that requires an ice flower. So let's carefully make our way over to the coin. And let's try to access this new area. Basically, you have these little, like, ice or like water spouts, and you can jump across them if you are Ice Luigi. So we actually have to use this to triple jump up here. It's actually a little bit, the timing can actually be a little bit precise, so it usually takes me a couple tries to make it to the Sling Star. So now we're in a different part of the mountain with a new power-up. You transformed into Fire Luigi. Shake the controller and press Y to shoot fireballs. This is actually kind of notable because the Fire Flower has actually never been in a 3D Mario game before this point. It's actually kind of fascinating because it's sort of a staple of the 2D games, and yet the 3D ones generally didn't have power-ups. So let's carefully make our way up here. Using the Fire Flower, we can also defeat the Ice Bats, but we actually have some other issues when using this power-up. So basically, like the Ice Flower, this is on a timer, which is kind of a downgrade from the 2D games where you can basically use it until you take a hit. Also, it kind of reduces the max height of your spin. You do get a little bit of height, like with the Ice Flower, but it does not work nearly as well, both for height or as an air stall. So in this case, having to do very precarious platforming with the Fire Flower, needless to say, it's not my favorite thing in the world, and then you throw in Luigi's physics, and then it's really not the most fun level. There's a specific reason why I decided to do this mission first, because this one almost always gives me a ton of trouble as Mario, let alone as Luigi. I actually did a ground pound there on purpose to stop my momentum on this little ledge, otherwise I might have slid right off. So I think I can actually hear the star, meaning we're actually getting close, but next up we actually have to carefully wall jump up here, while the walls are like receded basically. So let's quickly make our way to the top, and yeah, we've made it to the top of the mountain with a star. You got a hidden star, conquering the summit, Freezeflame Galaxy. High score updated. You increased your star bit count. Alright, with that out of the way, thankfully, let's return to the main missions. Next up is Freezeflame's Blistering Core. Like before, we're starting out on this little ice ring, but there's actually no penguin this time. Instead, we have to collect star chips. It looks like there are 3 on the top side of this ring, meaning that the remaining ones have to be on the underside. There's 1, and there's also a coin, so let's collect this. That makes a ton of star bits appear, and there's our last star chip. We can either use the pole stars or a well-timed long jump to make it over here. And we finally made it to the flame part of the Freezeflame Galaxy. I really like how the ice level and the fire level were actually combined into one stage in this game. I actually think that's pretty clever. Also the way they kind of like, you know, we start on the little ice ring and then we go to like this fiery area. Like they're separate planets within the same galaxy, which is kind of cool. So we need to find a way to light a torch. So let's head over here and pick up this coin. I'm pretty sure this was supposed to be done first, meaning that coin was supposed to have a little bit more fanfare to it, if we hadn't already gone to Fire Flower. But now we can actually use this to light torches and defeat these enemies. And with that shortcut opened up, we can make our way over to the next 2 torches and light these, if we can time this correctly. I do feel like the Fire Flower is a little bit tricky to use because of the time limit. Also, this is cool. We're basically on... This planet is basically like 2 halves that are like disconnected, but like close to each other. So like we just jumped from one half of the planet to the other. I feel like that's a really cool concept for a level, actually. So next up we have more torches to light and a ton of enemies to deal with. The torch on the left is harder to hit because it's at a weird angle, so we're actually starting with this one. Yeah, the way the fire flowers bounce in this game can be a little bit tricky, actually. So we've opened up another path, and yeah, you can kind of see like the 2 halves of the planet in proximity to each other, and now we have to swap over to the other half again. Again, I just think this game has some really clever level design at times. Not even just the level design, but also like the framing of the level. Like, this is a fun level, but like the way it's actually framed makes it so much cooler even. I realize the irony of calling this section of the level cool. Over here, we have 2 more torches and a series of moving platforms. I don't think we can actually reach the torch from here. Maybe we can, actually. So we actually don't need to worry about the moving platform for that one, which is nice. But we still have 1 more torch to hit. And that opens up the gate blocking the star and also causes a little bridge to show up. I'm pretty sure we actually don't need the platform for that. We can just long jump. I don't know if Mario can make that though. You got a star. Freezeflame's Blistering Core, Freezeflame Galaxy. High score updated. You increased your star bit count. And we have one more mission here to go for now, so let's see what it's like. This is Hot and Cold Collide. So Mission 1 is an ice level, Mission 2 is primarily a lava level, and Mission 3 is actually a hodgepodge of both, which I actually think is really clever, to kind of introduce both separately and then merge them for the final stage. So we have two torches here to light. We also have a block on top of this little arch here. I actually don't know how you're supposed to get here. Like, I don't know if Mario can actually make that jump, so who knows? That may be completely unintended to get this block that way as Luigi. But with that collected, there's also a life mushroom in there, but I'll probably lose health trying to get it because of the frozen water. So let's make our way over here and activate this valve. And that opens the way forward. As we make our way through this little pathway, the opposite side of this planet is lava. I probably should not have taken my chance with that long jump, but it all worked out. We have more of these little things. By the way, these actually sink, so you want to be a little bit careful when moving across those. And we have a similar setup here where we have to wait until the lava recedes before we can activate this. I am going to carefully long jump. I've actually botched that a lot. I sometimes accidentally backflip, which is not great when lava is rising. So yeah, with the fire flower in tow, we need to make our way back over to the torches. This area is very interesting to me, because other than the fire and ice mechanics, this is basically the Cosmic Luigi race, but it actually feels a little bit out of order as a result, but kind of in order at the same time, because obviously if everything is like a mix of both, it is a little bit tougher, but traditionally, when you get a Prankster Comet stage unlocked, you have to actually finish the level it's based on first. This is actually a rare case where you basically go through the Prankster Comet first, more than likely because of when it unlocks, and then you go through the stage it's based on second. So yeah, it's a little bit out of order in some ways. I'm not actually skating because I do not trust Luigi's like slidey physics, so I'm very carefully making our way over to the next star. You got a star! Hot and Cold Collide, Freezeflame Galaxy. You increased your star bit count. Next up is a new galaxy. The Dusty Dune Galaxy. First up is Soaring on the Desert Winds. The Dusty Dune Galaxy is a very interesting area for me personally. As a stage, it's actually pretty interesting, but for some reason, I usually end up having very bad luck on this particular stage. Like a lot of like weird fluke deaths happen to me, so I'm actually being way more careful than usual. You can actually ground pound to get out of this tornado. Basically, you have to jump into the tornado and then spin to launch yourself, and then you can ground pound to land. But I was being very careful not to fall. And now we have this little underground area with the sand basically pushing us. So preferably I would like to stay out of the sand if possible. Oh, that is a lot of thwomps. By the way, earlier that was actually quicksand. That is instant death, so that's why I was being so careful not to accidentally ground pound and fall directly into it. There's also a 1-up up there, but I'd rather not be crushed in the process. That would defeat the purpose of getting the 1-up, so we'll skip that and just keep moving. There are panels and a thwomp, so let's actually wait and try to quickly activate this. It's a little bit easier said than done when you have sand pushing you, but we got through that. And we have a ton of star bits along these wheels, which luckily have their own gravity, so we can very easily go along these. This is just coins, not super helpful. I think in Galaxy 2 they start making coins a little bit more helpful, but yeah, in Galaxy 1, coins are basically just for high scores, but don't really do much else. Alright, that gives us a fire flower, which is actually pretty nice. Luckily, unlike the classics, piranha plants are vulnerable to jumping. But hey, if we can get through this with a fire flower, that's way better. That is a large boulder chasing us now, so let's carefully make our way across. I'm not going to worry about that. And we made it to another launch star. So next up, we need to climb this tower, which is easier said than done. I don't know if it's just me, but those blocks look a little bit more like weathered than other blocks so far, and I actually kind of like that. It makes sense for a sandy area. I did not mean to stun that enemy, actually. Yeah, there are these bird enemies that'll drop bombs on you, but yeah, you can't actually defeat them, I guess. But yeah, I wasn't actually intending to try that. Next up, we have this coin over this tornado. That activates a sling star further up to the next tornado, so we can launch and hopefully make it to another coin. This area has a little bit of a thing in front of it, like a window. So obviously that makes it a little bit tricky to like line things up in terms of like going with the tornado and landing on that. I assume this is more star bits. I guess this is kind of showing you a path down safely. Kind of a nice little wall jump area, actually. And let's keep scaling this though. And up here we have a gap in the wall and a moving block. I'm not sure if you're supposed to stand on this or if you're supposed to like follow the wall jump up, but standing on it is actually way easier. Alright, we made it to the top where we have our next star, but we also have sand to deal with. You got a star, soaring on the desert winds, Dusty Dune Galaxy. High score updated. You increased your star bit count. A hungry Luma has appeared. Alright, let's head back and see what's next. This is Blasting Through the Sand. Alright, so we have to make our way over to this little platform where we have a ton of Pokies. Let's wait till they jump towards us. And we have a much angrier Pokey to deal with. Let's wait till it drops down and see what we can do. Actually, do I have to spin? Yeah, we actually have to spin to defeat each segment. And that gives us a launch star. Alright, now that we're over here, there's actually stuff under these platforms, but we'll talk about that later. For now, let's head over to the Sling Star. And this is where the fun begins. We have this, like, series of sand moving around, and we have to collect things here. This is not the easiest thing in the world to do, because obviously you can't stop. It is definitely too fast for you to fight back. So if you miss something, you basically have to make a full loop every time, which is not the most convenient thing in the world. I missed that again, but we can actually stop and get this treasure chest, at least. That's why I was hanging on to the shell, even though we actually missed a lot in the process of holding on to the shell. So let's pick that up, and now there should be one more to go. Before we move any further, let's actually try to figure out where it is. I actually don't know if I can see it from here. Also, dry bones are, like in other games, will come back to life if you leave them alone for too long. There it is. Barely made it, and we have our path forward using the pole stars. Alright, so let's see where these lead us next. We have this little area with two arrows. One is pointing left and one is pointing right. It looks like there's more goodies over there, but I don't know if that's a trick or not, knowing how platformers tend to be structured. Carefully making our way over to the launch star. And we have a very cool, but also slightly disorienting sequence. We basically have to go back and forth between the top and the underside of this area. We also have these little tornadoes with eyes. It almost feels more like something out of Banjo Kazooie than Mario, with the little eyes. Again, this is quicksand. Do not fall into the quicksand. That is instant death. It's kind of weird to me in some ways that lava is less dangerous than quicksand. So now we found another one of these little areas that we can actually use to swap over to the other side. And we actually have our star, but we can't get to it. There's not enough, we can't get enough height off of a jump. So we have to carefully make our way over to another spot to swap over again. And from here, these are also like twirling around little spikes this time, so we have to be careful to avoid those. But we can climb up and activate this. What that does is it basically moves that sand structure to the opposite side of this planet, meaning we actually will be able to get enough height to actually get the star now, because it has moved over to the other side. The only problem is we very quickly have to make our way over there. It is on a timer. The ticking of the timer will speed up as it's about to run out, so I think we still have plenty of time. You got a star! Blasting through the sand, dusty Dune Galaxy. High score updated. You increased your star bit count. Alright, so we're actually getting pretty close to the end of the bedroom dome. There's a few more stars at the Dusty Dune Galaxy, and we also have the enemy hideout. There's also a few other secrets around the observatory, like the Hungry Luma, and we haven't heard from Luigi in a while, so we'll investigate those probably next time. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Super Mario Galaxy.